Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to explain what narcolepsy is. So narcolepsy is a sleep disorder categorized by um, having no control of when you fall asleep. So you may think that, oh, narcolepsy, I probably have narcolepsy. I'm always falling asleep in class, but that's most likely not true because narcolepsy is a lot deeper than just falling asleep in class, right? It's categorized by having no control of when you transition from wake to REM sleep. So it's just straight wake to REM. You can't control that. And why I say that if you fall asleep in class, you're not probably don't have narcolepsy is because people who have narcolepsy usually go from straight awake to REM sleep. They don't go from awake to slow wave sleep, which is likely what you're doing when you take a nap in class. So let's get into some symptoms, right? So that's just one symptom. Another symptom is something known as cataplexy. So cataplexy is a symptom associated with narcolepsy where strong emotions, such as crying or laughing really, really hard, or being super duper surprised, can lead to episodes of paralysis. Ooh, okay. And this should probably sound a little similar to you to what happens during REM sleep, right? So if in REM sleep, what tends to happen is you have this idea of how in REM sleep, when a person is in REM sleep, they will go into something known as atonia, where their body is paralyzed, right? While you're in your REM sleep. So this again just furthers this idea that narcolepsy is REM gone wrong. Like it's this where when you have narcolepsy, you can't control your REM symptoms. So cataplexy is one effect of that, where you can't control when you're paralyzed, is what cataplexy is. Then you also have another REM gone wrong symptom, which is hypnagogic hallucinations. So hallucinations are this dream-like state or a dream-like hallucination in a half wake, half asleep state. You have these vast like hallucinations, these vivid dream-like hallucinations. I should add that. These are vivid dream-like hallucinations. So when you're half awake and you're half asleep, you're going to have these dream-like hallucinations. So let's get into why all of this actually happens, right? So if you look at this picture over here, what you see here is the distribution of a chemical known as, oh, that's not very visible. Give me one second. I'll write in white. That's probably orexin. Okay. So orexin is, as a quick refresher, a neurotransmitter or a neuropeptide, I should say, neurotransmitter slash neuropeptide that has excitatory effects. on the arousal systems. So arousal systems means that it keeps you awake, right? In other words, in very simple terms, all orexin does is it keeps you awake. It's one of the chemicals that keeps you awake. So as you can see here, this is the distribution of a person who has healthy levels of orexin. So you can see how it's very concentrated in your hypothalamic VLPO region, ventrolateral preoptic region, which is the main orexin producing part of your brain. You can see how it's located, it's concentrated extremely heavily. But in people with narcolepsy, this narcolepsy brain shows a much lower concentration of orexin. You can see that it's a lot more diffuse, and not only is it diffuse, it's a lot less concentrated. So what that tells us here, I'll use a different color as our inference, is that orexin plays a role, plays a role in the transition from wake to REM. Right? So what we're seeing here is that when you have high amounts of orexin, we're able to go from awake to sleep normally. But when you have less amounts of orexin, you have little to no control over when you go from awake to REM. So what that tells us is that orexin plays a crucial role in the transition from awake to REM sleep. And not only that, right? If you look at sorry, let me rephrase that. If you look at neurons that are around this orexin producing area, so the neurons around these general areas, they contain or they release something known as melanin concentrating hormone. So let's see if I can find another color. So these green areas that I'm highlighting produce something known as a melanin concentrating hormone. And why that is significant is that what researchers are hypothesizing is that the balance between orexin and melanin concentrating, or the melanin neurons, I'll say for simplification purposes, is what regulates our transition from wake to REM sleep. So, so what you guys need to take away, if you guys were to take away a few main points from this video, it would be as follows. Narcolepsy is categorized by sudden attacks of REM sleep throughout the day, which a person has no control over. The symptoms of narcolepsy include cataplexy and hypnagogic hallucinations, which are basically bouts of paralysis as well as dreamlike states. Narcolepsy is hypothesized to be caused by a lower amount of orexin neurons. As a recap, orexin is a neurotransmitter or a neuropeptide that puts or exerts a positive or an arousing effect or excitatory effect on arousal symptoms, which means orexin plays a role in keeping you awake. So due to the decrease in orexin neurons, as you can see from this picture, it is likely hypothesized that orexin plays a role in the transition from wake to REM sleep. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. Bye, everyone.